If it involves serial killers, psychopaths, and unsolved true crime, count me in. Thank you for clicking on the video. Welcome back to the channel. This is another episode of Buzz on the Case. I know it's been a while. I ain't really been on the hunt for cases like I should. So just know that there will be more Buzz on the Case videos, more While I Was Out videos. We doing some rebranding in 2021. So with that being said, let's get into the case. So this case involves Lonnie Franklin. Lonnie, let's just to give you guys a backstory on him because he's somebody that we should have seen coming a mile away. Lonnie was given a dishonorable discharge from the United States Army back in 1975 for gang raping a 17-year-old girl in Germany. He and two other servicemen pretended to need directions, and they asked the girl for directions, but ended up attacking her at knife point and drug her to an empty field where they repeatedly raped her. She was able to get Lonnie's phone number, and that is how they essentially, caught him for that crime. But photos were taken of the 17-year-old girl, and that turned out to be Lonnie's MO, later on down the road. That's something that he normally did, which was photograph the victims after he's, brutally beat them or tortured them or raped them, whatever. After he committed his crimes, he would take pictures of the women. And that's something he carried on throughout because he had to have been the rapist that did that then, and that's something that stuck with him and that he continued to do. It was part of his little ritual. In 1989, he was convicted of 2 charges of theft, 1 charge of misdemeanor assault, and 1 charge of battery, and he served time for 1 of the theft charges. So that's just a little bit on Lonnie. Lonnie ain't, as far as we concerned, he's always been a predator, a sexual predator, a sexual deviant. But anyway, I found this case, browsing, looking for cases involving African American victims, and I stumbled on this one. And his victims, I want to say, the victims that they know about, it's like up to 10, but there are more. Victim number 1, on November 20th, 1988, 30-year-old Henrietta Margaret Washington, while on her way to a friend's house, she is stopped by a man who, offers to give her a ride, and he seems like a nice guy, but she's apprehensive. He presses the issue, and she feels bad and ends up getting in the car with him, which of course she should have never done, but she ends up getting in the car with him. And all of a sudden, while they're riding, she looks down and she's bleeding. She's been shot. So he done already shot her in the chest, and he gets on top of her and rapes her. And she's wrestling with him, of course, and she finds herself, I guess, I don't know what he did, roughed her up a little bit more, because she lost consciousness. It might have been because of that bullet wound, because she was bleeding out, so she lost consciousness. And when she came to, he was on top of her taking Polaroid pictures, and she was able to muster up some more strength to fight back, and he ended up pushing her out of his vehicle and left her for dead on the side of the road. She ended up going and getting to a friend's house. She was able to crawl or walk or get herself some help, and they got her to the hospital. The doctors were able to remove the bullet, and they saved her life. The police, who had been working on a similar case, involving a similar type of MO, or I should say similar type of victimology, they want to find, out if these cases are linked in some way. And so they take the bullet that they got out of her, to match it with the bullets that they found on these other victims. But, in that time, there was no DNA testing or anything like that. So they didn't really have a whole lot of options. Like somebody literally had to just say they did it back then for you to catch anybody, because I don't even know about ballistics. I mean, I want to say ballistics were were up to par because they're testing the bullets and comparing the bullets, but I don't know. Because of that, the case went cold for years because they ain't have nobody to pin it on. 15 years later, another body appears. 15-year-old Princess Bartholomew. Police test Princess's the bullet that they took off of her. They tested with the same bullet that they took off of Henrietta, and it's a match. They test the DNA as well. That's a match, but they still don't know who to pinpoint. And in 2003 and 2007, like 2 other bodies were found. And so this time they have to do a familial DNA test, which is a familial DNA search, which is when they search the database looking for somebody that's related to, the DNA that they have. And they did that once, and in 2008 it came back unsuccessful, and then a year later, which is 2008-09, they were able to find a match, and they found a match to a man named Christopher Franklin Jr., who is in jail right now. Well, he was in jail at the time, convicted of a felony weapons charge. He's Lonnie's son. So now that they have that, now they're going to follow Lonnie. And so they're tailing him, and they're able to retrieve like a plate and napkin that he had thrown away. And they tested the items for DNA and all of that. And it was a perfect match to the DNA that they had found on those bodies. Of course, after that, he's brought in for interrogation. And see, this is what I watched. I watched his entire interrogation. And he's sitting up in there cool as a cucumber. Got his hands in his pockets, legs crossed, he's sitting back. And they're like, so, Mr. Franklin, do you know why you're here? Nah. That's what I want to know. Y'all done brought me in here. I don't know why I'm in here. That's what I want to know. And they're like, well, we've been investigating a murder that took place in 2007. And then they're like, this is Janicia Peters. She was his last victim. And she was found on January 1st, 2007. But they slapped that picture out. This is her. Do you recognize her? And he's like, I don't know her. Never seen her before. I don't know her. And then the detective is like, we found your DNA on her. And so how did that happen? How did your DNA get on her? I don't know. He is adamant. He don't know her. I don't know her. I don't have anything to do with that. I don't know anything. The detectives pull out another picture on him. Okay, so in 2003, this woman was found. He looks at it. I don't know her either. Okay. Well, why is your DNA on her as well? Don't know. Can't tell you. I don't know these people. Okay. The detectives gets he gets this because he got a stack of pictures. He pulls out another one, puts it down on the table. Okay. Lucretia Jefferson. I don't know her. Alicia Alexander. I don't know her. Okay, so now they're gonna talk to him a little bit more and probe a little bit, and so we start talking about a 911 call that they've retrieved from 1987, where a man described seeing another man dump a woman on the side of the road. And it's funny and it's ironic, of course, and coincidental that he lives up the road from where that woman was, where her body was dumped. He went to church where some of the bodies were found. He's just too close to all of these crime scenes, and so they looking at him. Not to mention they got his DNA, but he's still adamant he don't know these women. I've never seen them, never met any of them. I don't know anything. Y'all just got me in here for nothing, really, because I don't know anything. They pull out another pic. This is Mary Lowe. What about her? Your DNA was on her too. I don't know her. Okay. Bernita Sparks. I don't know her. Okay. and he's even so smug to every, with these pictures every once in a while, because they have them all. And with her, with Bernita Sparks, he looks at her picture and is like, she kind of heavy. She look a little heavy set. And the detective is like, excuse me? Oh, I said she looked fat. I said she's fat. But I don't know her. Then the detectives ask, do you own any weapons? Oh, yeah, I got a rifle. I got a pistol. I got another handgun. And that's about it. He don't even know the cops have already been in his house and they have already retrieved all the weapons. He had 10. 10 weapons they found in his house, in his closet. But he gonna lie and just mention about 4 of them. They asked him, about the details on some of these guns and all of that, trying to trip him up, because he is lying. He's blatantly lying, of course. And the police officer's like, so that's all the guns you got? That's it? What about that 25 cal? What about that 25 caliber? 25 caliber. You mean the rifle? No, the 25 caliber handgun. You don't own any more handguns? Handgun. I don't know what a handgun is. He's just dumb. I don't. 25 caliber. Oh, the pistol. Yeah, the pistol. Where is it? Oh, that ain't mine. I borrowed that from my brother-in-law and I gave it back. That's his gun. Did you? Is that all the guns you got? Yeah, that's it. That's all I got. And you still don't know none of these women? No, I don't know none of these women. I can't give you nothing because I don't know them. Okay, so how is your DNA on it? And the detective is like, don't you watch the shows? You know how DNA works, don't you? Yeah, you better at it than me. You know how the DNA work. And he's like, yeah, saliva, blood, bodily fluids, anything like that. And it all links back to one person. Yes, I'm glad you said that. And that one person is you. It's all coming back to you. Again, can you tell me about these women? Nope, he can't tell them nothing because he don't know nothing. Don't know them women. They never seen them before. Never crossed paths. Nothing like that. He don't know nothing. He ain't seen nothing. Don't ask him nothing. He innocent. Finally, because we got some more women. We back to the pictures. And so now we start putting them all out there. And he's still acting clueless. And then there's another woman, Henrietta Wright. We see hers and he's like, ooh, she butt ugly. That's all I know. And the woman wasn't ugly. But he got the nerve to just throw digs now. I can't. I can't with a psychopath, with a sociopath, with a narcissist. Anybody with them mental disabilities. Like, I cannot. I can't with you. Just send them all up the river. Because I'm not finna sit and you sitting in my face lying. I know we done found your DNA on these women. On all of them. We done been in your house. Done searched your car. We know it all. And at that point, people should know that they know it all. Like, they're not bringing you in to figure it out. Sometimes they do. But 9 times out of 10, if they had brought you in and sat you down, it's because they know that you the one. They know you the one who did it. But he gonna sit up there and lie, and he lied. He ain't never admit to nothing. It was just, I don't know them. I don't know her. She ugly. I know that. Ooh, she fat. I know that, but I don't know him. Finally, another detective steps in and is just like, listen, this shit, we already know. You pick these women up off the road, so these are working girls. You pick these women up, you have your way with them, take advantage of them, you beat them and kill them, and then dump their bodies on the side of the road. That's what you do. Am I lying? And he gonna say, I mean, I ain't killed nobody, so I ain't tripping off that. I'm just blown away at how he's really, okay, you just gonna deny it to the end. The people already got your DNA, Lonnie. They tell him, you know, okay, you ain't tripping. Did you know one of your victims survived? Did you know that? Henrietta, her name was Henrietta Margaret Washington. Yeah, her. Did you know she survived? And she, you know, of course, turned out to be prosecution's key witness in the trial because she lived through it. And she was able, of course, to say it was him, you know, all of that. And at his sentencing, the judge gave him they prosecuted him to the fullest extent. And he got the maximum, which was death. He was sentenced on July 7th, 2010. His trial didn't begin until February 2016. So, like, this has been a long journey for that family. I couldn't imagine so many years of your life wasted on this bull. You know, like, and what's all this speedy process bullshit in the Constitution? Because these are not speedy processes. Like, these people be sitting around in jail waiting for a trial for years. My damn tax dollars on these folks' hot cot and a meal for 4 and 5 and 10 years just for the trial. I don't like that. I thought we had a right to a speedy trial, meaning get it going. But I guess not. Anyway, on May 5th, 2016, he was convicted. 2016. I ain't gonna talk like that. I really hate when people talk like that. On May 5th, 2016, he was convicted. And he was, of course, on death row. On death row. Ooh, this Atlanta accent really getting away with me today. On May, what day was that? On May. I don't know. Anyway, I want to say March. It was March 28th, 2020. He was found unresponsive in his cell. And so he did. I don't know if it's old. He was old because he was at least like 60. No, I think he was 65 when he passed, and he was, you know, like in his 50s when he was convicted. But his execution was never carried out or anything like that. He ended up dying up in there. He died right on in there. And good, oh well, so what? I mean, I guess it's, you know, bittersweet maybe, you know, his execution wasn't carried out, so justice wasn't all the way served, but justice was served because he spent enough time in prison, and he gonna have to give an account, you know, for everything he did while here on earth. And God is not pleased. God is not pleased because he ran him up. He had kids of his own. He was married. It's just like, what? If you are somebody that buys prostitutes, why does the prostitute have to die because you bought a prostitute? Like, it ain't her fault that you have a proclivity for, you know, the working girl, and you're a married man, and that's all it be. They mad, you know, like, it's the guilt. It's the, you ain't never gonna live to tell it, you know, feeling like those women are trash or disposable because they're the working girl or the girl that, you know, would be deemed, you know, the people that we don't really care about. And that's the furthest thing from the truth, because they had families as well. People who missed them, people who were looking for them. Just because they were prostitutes or drug addicts does not mean that nobody loved them. So he was mistaken with that. Sadly mistaken, thinking he was going to get away with it forever. When they found the pictures, all the Polaroids, he had so many. So there are other victims out there. They just have to identify them. Just a creep. Just creep life. Just, you bad enough you picking up prostitutes. And then you want to pick them up and then kill them. It ain't their fault that you like prostitutes. Like, I don't get that. It's the same with men, heterosexual men, and excuse me, I shouldn't even say that, because you can't be heterosexual and picking up trans people or that sort of thing. Yeah, I mean, if that's what you like, that's what you like. But why does that person have to pay for it? Because you suddenly feel like you're guilty, or you suddenly feel dirty or whatever. That ain't their problem. That's yours. I done got upset because it happens a lot. But yeah, that was the case, and I felt like this one was. It's almost like that other case that I did. What was the man's name? Andrew Seawell. I think that was his name. He was the one in Chicago. I want to say it was Chicago. In Chicago, who was living in the same house with those dead bodies, all those corpses, and he was living in it. Ooh, like, some people are nuts. Some people are really crazy. This man was one of them. They called him the Grim Sleeper, and they called him that because he committed his little crimes in the 80s and then never came back. He didn't come back for like 14, 15 years. So I guess essentially he was in a sleeping season, I guess. He wasn't out killing. He didn't kill for 15 years, and then he come back and he does it, which is something like serial killers do that. Sometimes they will kill people for a whole decade and then drop off, get old, and come back and do it again. But he ain't gonna get the chance to do that because he dead. Oh well. Be sure to rate, comment, and subscribe to the channel. It's Call Me Busby, and I'll definitely be back. I don't know if I'll do a buzz on the case next week. Matter of fact, I take that back. I will. I'll have another case next week because, like I said, rebranding. That's what we doing, right? Rebranding. Peace and light, y'all. Bye.